Hi tribe, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jess of BehatiLife. Thank you so much for tuning in. So this week is jam-packed with astrological events, including this full moon in Sagittarius, which you need to know about, Mercury moving into Gemini, Venus moving into Taurus, a lot of things that are going to affect you in your personal lives that you're going to want to know about. And Jupiter goes direct. Did I say that already? So I'm going to dive right into the details. I have the chart right in front of me. You guys know I love to intuitively look at them, interpret it, and then communicate it over to you. And then I have my notes here just in case I forget. So this report starts June 5th until June 11th. So that's Monday through Sunday. I do want to start by saying June 4th. That's Sunday. So not Monday, Sunday, the day before the start of this week. It's really important because I'm sorry, I zoned out for a second. It's really important because Mars moved into Cancer. Now, the sign of Cancer. Now, across the board, this reading and this report is for every single astrological sign, no matter what your sun sign is, no matter what your ascendant sign is. So this is for everyone. Hopefully sometime in the future, I'll be able to knock them down into specifics. So, you know, if you're a Leo, then the report for a Leo, if you're a Virgo, but at the moment, I don't really have the time, but that's something that I'm setting the intention for the future. So make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so that you get those updates instantly. But right now, what I can do is the astrological influence across the board. And so June 4th, Mars is the planet that rules our drive, our motivation, our how we go after something, how we achieve, how we work towards something. And across the board, this affects us. So Cancer, the fact that Mars is moving through Cancer, the way that we achieve stuff, the way that we try to accomplish things starts to switch up. We'll start to feel the influence of it. So with this type of transit, instead of aggressively moving forward and speeding through, like for example, let's say Mars is in Aries. Aries is about gung-ho, diving into it, going head first, aggressive. So this is a little bit more like feeling things out and not as direct, but kind of like a roundabout way of going to achieve things. And we're just coming out of Mars being in the sign of Gemini, and that is a little bit scattered. So my inbox was flooding with people who were like, Jess, I can't focus, I can't concentrate, my head feels like it's in a million places, my intention, my day-to-day feels like a fishbowl just kind of shook up. So those are some of the things that I was hearing. Now this is kind of the same, but it's a little bit more side-to-side action. Cancer is known, well, Cancer is symbolized, like Cancer symbol is the crab. So if you can think how crabs go side to side, they're not really sure, they're a little bit skittish. That's kind of how Mars energy affects us. Instead of us kind of directly going towards something or directly going to achieve, we're a little bit more hesitant and a little bit more feeling it out, which is the next thing that I want to say, is that Mars connects to your mood, your emotion. Mars in Cancer connects to your moods and your emotions. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon is constantly changing, constantly shifting. And that our energy levels are directly 100% influenced by our feelings, our emotions, which can change. A lot of you guys will feel sensitive. Mars in Cancer tends to be very sensitive and kind of passive, not passive aggressive, but just kind of takes the way, like, not a step back, because at the same time, Cancer is very much a mover, a changer based upon how strong they feel. And they are the first to feel something powerfully and to create a shift and a change. So Mars moving through this, it's still, I don't want you guys to think that you're going to be not able to make a move or a decision. You still have the power to do it, but it's definitely connected to how you're feeling and your emotions and how you're feeling for the day and for that moment. And then also you want to feel things out before you dive into it. So that's one thing that I saw. The second thing that I'm seeing is the fact that Venus is moving through the sign of Taurus, and had just switched into the sign of Taurus, and that's June 6th, directly on June 6th. So Venus rules relationships, aesthetic, beauty, and values and money. And when she sits within the sign of Taurus, this is where we start to feel the influence, where we want to surround ourselves with luxury. We want to surround ourselves with good quality things and comfort. Cancer, Mars in Cancer is the same thing. We will find ourselves being drawn more to the home. We find ourselves drawn to family and comforts of those types of natures, especially if you get your feelings hurt, or if you're feeling some type of way about something. Then the first thing Mars wants to do is to withdraw, and when it's ready, it comes out again when Mars is falling within the sign of Cancer. So you can kind of see that backwards, like moving forward, backward motion for the next, I want to say, 3 to 4 weeks. Don't, like, if you spend money, this is the time where you're going to be spending money. Venus in Taurus will works hard, but will put a nice chunk of change down, not because they're spending recklessly, but because they know that it's something that will pay off for the long haul, and it's something that gives them comfort and that they can count on. It's dependable. It's like someone who saves up money for like a really nice Louis Vuitton bag or a Coach bag or a really nice luxury car. They worked hard for it, they deserved it, they put the money down, and then they reap the benefit of it, and then they can have that luxury of that. So I see that too. A lot of our way of like the things that we're attracted to, you might even find yourself sprucing yourself up, especially earth and water signs. This is the perfect time for you to make some changes to yourself, appearance wise, aesthetically. So if you want to do a beauty treatment, if you wanted to do get your hair done, if you wanted to get your nails done, those types of things are things that are absolutely 110% supported when Venus moves to the sign of Taurus. And at the same time, how I was saying before, if you wanted to invest in a really nice bag or a really nice item, or if you want to surround yourself in comfort things that are tangible, things that literally feel good. So I saw that. Mercury moves into the sign of Gemini. So remember how I was saying before how my a few like a month or two ago, people were flooding my inbox with like the feelings of, Jess, I feel scattered. Jess, my energy's kind of like thrown all over the place. Mentally, when Mercury moves through the sign of Gemini, it naturally fits here, but the mental activity gets increased like tenfold. Gemini is known for being very quick thinking, quick speaking, quick on their feet, like just witty and fun. They're all about gathering information, doing the research, but it's a lot of mental activity. And Mercury naturally rules the mind. Mercury rules Gemini. So Mercury moving through here is comfortable, but again, it really depends on what your signs are, where your planets fall. But for the most part, this is excellent for those who are writing, those who are bloggers, those who are putting content out, like talking, those types of things. So I see that too. It's a lot of mental activity that's getting spurred and kind of revved up. So this is what I really wanted to talk about, and I should have started with this first, but it is what it is. It's this full moon in Sagittarius. Now, the full moon in Sagittarius, I love full moons. You guys know this. I live my life by the moon. In fact, so much of what I do within my work ties with the cycles of the moon and the changes of the moon. And you guys know this with my apothecary, and you know it with my readings, how everything kind of changes. My mood changes, my energy changes. This full moon in Sagittarius. Now, I didn't even mention Jupiter goes, okay, wait. Let me start with the full moon first. So this full moon in Sagittarius is pretty ginormous. Pretty big. There's no such thing. There's going to be astrologers who are saying like this is a really negative moon. There is no such thing as a negative thing. Take a challenge and make it a positive. Take a challenge and turn it into growth. You can do these things. You can take a positive, have a positively aspected full moon, and then have negative things happen to you, because it's not about when you see a trine, it just shows that there's effortless movement and things are kind of flowing well together. But just because they're flowing well together doesn't mean it's flowing well together on your behalf. So just kind of cancel out anything such as like a negative full moon or a positive full moon, it's all about energy, it's about intention, and how you use an obstacle to grow and how you use a positive to grow and to transform and to use it for opportunity. I hope this makes sense. So if you're hearing an astrologer saying that's a negative full moon, it's truly not. Sometimes people are saying that just for ratings, and to scare people into clicking, but this full moon is not negative, but it has moments, it has challenges, as all things do. So the moon falls in the sign of Jupiter. The moon falls within the sign of Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter. And this is all about expansion, growth, exploring, thinking big. Why do I keep on doing this? Because Jupiter naturally, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and whatever Jupiter has its influence on, it kind of expands it and brings it even wider. So the moon is sitting within the sign of Sagittarius. This always across the board says, I want you to think big. I want you to think large. I want you to, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but large, grand scale. Like, think outside of the box. Keep an open mind. Think about expansion. Think about growth. Your vision. What is it that you want for your life? What is it that you see for your life? And the full moon wants to expose that. The moon sits on top of Saturn. Now, Saturn represents the planet of restriction. It kind of pushes the mood down a little bit, but it makes you really serious. For some people, this can bring tendencies of depression or make you feel bad or make you feel low temporarily. How you can use this for a positive is any type of negative feelings that are bubbling up. It's because there's a feeling of emptiness or a feeling of being incomplete in some way, or loneliness or isolation in some way, shape, or form. Or bad news. But also know that any type of news that comes in, because the full moon will highlight things, it'll bring things to our attention. Any type of obstacle, like if it's a no, or like someone or something telling you no, and it makes you sad initially, know that the universe has put it there very purposefully so that you don't walk down that path. So although it's something that you wanted, know that you're being protected from walking down something that could have eventually been a bad thing for you, a bad connect. And always know that if there's a block that shows up, then there's always something better. And if a block shows up within your life, know that the full moon is placed there. The full moon happens, all of these planets, all of the transits, the movement of the planets happen in order to create opportunity or to block you so that you can find an opportunity elsewhere. And the planets will bring up what needs to be let go of. The planets will bring up what you need to say no to, but you don't know to say no to. So trust it, trust it, trust it, trust it. So whenever you have a hurt, whenever you have an ache, whenever you feel pain, know that there's something that's there that needs to be addressed or needs to be taken care of. And that's what the moon sitting on top of Saturn says. If you start to feel sad or depressed or lonely or isolated, then you know that it's time for you to think out and expand. So that means if you're bored, it's time to travel. It's because Sagittarius wants to travel. It wants to go to other lands. It wants to go to other people. If you're lonely, it's time to make new friends. Sagittarius it's so friendly, it's so energetic, it's so optimistic. It wants to connect with other people. If you're feeling sad, it's time for you to have more fun. Now, these are things that if you feel something that's bringing you down, know that there's a reason why it's bringing you down, and it's time for you to switch it up and revamp it and keep it going again in any way, shape, or form. Jupiter also, like I was saying before, Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Jupiter is a planet of expansion and growth. Whatever it puts its finger on tends to expand. Now, that sounds good. A lot of astrologers will say, okay, because Jupiter is direct now, because it once was retrograde, then that means blessings start to flow and abundance starts to flow. That is true. But again, it opens the floodgates. So let's say you have a tendency to overeat. Maybe you have a tendency to overspend. When Jupiter was retrograde, you were able to stick with your diet. You were able to stick with your budget. When Jupiter goes direct, then it's like the floodgates open and you're like, fuck the diet. Sorry, excuse my French. Pardon my French. Or screw this budget. I'm going to, drop a bomb on my bank account. Boom. And it's just like, what? So really, really, especially when it comes to relationships or luxury things or things that feel good, Jupiter wants to kind of come in here and just be like, boom. So again, there is no such thing as a positive or a negative thing. Just know that you want to look into your personal chart. Jupiter, though, if you do want to set an intention or if you do want to maximize the benefits of Jupiter going direct, then you want to think big. You want to treat yourself, you want to explore, you want to meet new people, you want to have fun. These are things to tap into when Jupiter goes direct. When Jupiter is retrograde, it's never really a bad thing. It's all about kind of, the blessings are still there, but they may trickle in a little bit because it's preparing for when it goes direct again, and it kind of, again, the floodgates open up. But on the flip side of that, Jupiter going direct can mean like you overdo things, maybe you I love my example with spending too much or eating too much, because Jupiter will do it. Like, Jupiter's like, is that chocolate cake? I'm going to eat that whole thing, which I would do. So those are some things to keep in mind. All right. So you guys, for the most part, thank you so much for tuning in. I did want to keep this under 20 minutes because you guys know I can talk, and I can talk fast. So if you do want to work with me one-on-one, I have astrology reports in the link below, and tarot readings, intuitive tarot readings, and I will be making the Sagittarius lunar and intention beauty oil, which will be available on BehatiLife.com in the apothecary and also within the Etsy shop. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love these. You can expect them every Sunday or Monday night. Okay? Don't forget to subscribe. Love you so much. Bye.